What's up Africa, what's up Nigeria, what's up Lagos, as usual, it's Immigration Alpha. Right now we are at the Sema Conference 2025, the State Emergency Management Agency Conference 2025, right here in the city of Ikondo, the emergency camp in Lagos State, organized by the Lagos State Emergency, the Sema, and we have a lot of state emergency agencies right here in the city of Lagos for the year 2025 Sema Conference, and it is the safety we're talking about right here. You understand? All right, we go inside and see what the program is all about for us as people are inside, set, ready for today's conference. Emergency is not a joke in Lagos State. Thank you. You are still watching.
This is you watch it on TV.
I want to welcome everybody, and sincerely, I want to congratulate you for this inaugural event. Of course, bring expert emergency manager from far and wide, 36 states of the federation, including Abuja. Here today, like most of the genius will tell you that information brings about transformation.
What Mr. and his team have been doing in the state. I quickly want to move on to the use of technology.
On the new movement. Now, the Command Control Center was established to support the activities of first responders when they respond to various kinds of emergencies. Now, let me tell you what actually, there are three pillars that actually holds effective incident management across the world. One is what's called policy, second is coordination, the third one is what's called the unseen incident command, or the unseen incident. Now we rest at that pillar of coordination. Now what do? We help the first responder, oftentimes referred as the incident management team, comprising of the Sema, LASMA, the firefighters. Once they are responding to incident, they want to achieve three basic elements which we call the incident object. One is life saving, second is incident stabilization, and third is protection and conservation of the government. So how do we help them? We do what we coordinate resources and information through what deployment. First and foremost, remember we are the nucleus of emergency response in the state. Communication is key. You call the 767-112, it is relayed to the command and control center, where you have the call center component. Now, where technology plays a very vital role, so that I don't delete that, is the fact that, for example, we have what we call the fiber optic technology. We have the E1 and we have the C. Okay, the C is for redundancy. The E1 is what we call the primary backbone. Now, every data and voice are enabled by this technology. They are relayed to the call center where the call agents can actually pick up this call. Also backed up by technology like what's called the network room and the data center.
Where traffic management and transportation takes precedence above everything else, because everything, virtually all activities are centered towards mobility, and of course there is supposed to be a body responsible for midwifery and managing this process, and that is why we are strategically positioned through our operations at junctions, intersections, roundabouts, and some other crucial and critical conflict-prone points, traffic conflict-prone points, so that what we pursue is more on the preventive side than reactive. We have a very effective preventive traffic management mechanism approach to managing road traffic situations all across the state.
Distinguished colleagues, the good thing about emergency management so far that we must not take for granted is one, Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu has taken clear ownership and provided the political will, which led to the situation that every first responders or all agencies that are important in managing safety of life and properties are well taken care of. Now, the uniqueness, the highest council in Lagos State is Executive Council. And believe me, because of that tone, you can see the Honorable Commissioner of Special Duties, and he's the only member of Executive Council. He's on the ground. And which means, in terms of operations, in terms of policy, everything is on our plans. It's a situation where the regulators and actors mix. If there is problem with the policy, if there is problem with the politics, there won't be any achievements. Now, when our first responders were talking, you will discover that we always learn from one thing to another. The command control today that we are celebrating as an agency, it started from my own vehicle. I started putting one telephone where we are going to receive call. Then we move to one room to 1, 2, 3 at last use. That is when the analog. Then we now move from 1, 2, 3 to 7, 6, 7. And at that time, we now started the call center. The call center that you are talking now, that you are seeing as an edifice, was my project when I was doing my postgraduate in Coventry, and we informed the governor there why we need to have a command control center. And today we now have a full-fledged command control center. You can see the journey moving from one step to another. It's not a big job. Our fire services used to be okay. Let me now say it. Now, when you are talking about policy, you must back it with law. When we had the concept, I took the concept of the command control center to the House of Assembly, and the Ministry of Science and Tech was saying, "Oh, they are going to dominate it. They are going to do." I said no, and I told them the reason. That communication is very, very important in emergency management. If there is no effective and efficient communications, you won't have results. And that is why the command control domicile with the Ministry of Special Duties. Fortunately for me, the gentleman that is heading the place now passed through me for 13 good years. Effectively. So you must learn to build a structure, and you must back it with law. Now, when you look at our fire services used to be at the Home Affairs. I was heading the Sema there, and I look at it. I said, what is fire services doing in Home Affairs? And I went back to the study and I said, fire service should not be in the home affairs. That they cannot have good capacity and capability, and they cannot breed. And when we noticed that, we went to the house to defend it. The house said no, it's not possible. They called a kangaroo committee there and said that it was not possible. And they put everything machinery that the fire services will not go for the home affairs. That is part of them. I went back again. I justified every step. And today, someone learned what I justified, and they move fire services from home affairs to special duty. And today, you can see our fire services is enjoying from to general now. What I'm saying as a Sema, you must be able to coordinate. You must be able to plan. You must be able to forecast. You must be able to prepare. You must be able to lead. And you must learn to carry everybody along effectively. No, let me last. We are learning. It's very important. 2 minutes more. I will tell you because what we are seeing. No, I will stop in the next 5 minutes. What I'm saying, and I'm collaborating with the moderator, that all what we are doing, we started from primary school. It's not a day work. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you must learn to start from the basic. And when you move from the basic, we are moving up. Right now, in Lagos State, we are now thinking about Institute of Disaster Management. And today, the IOM has brought the idea. They are in full support. This morning, I will say this word, I captured the NEMA. The NEMA is fully in support of our Institute of Disaster Management. And all universities in Nigeria doing disaster management that is being sponsored by NEMA will pass through that institute. So, and it's another level for us. We are now having Association of Disaster Managers where our people will be well trained. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we must learn to work together. We must learn to appreciate the time we are. We are the coordinators, disaster managers of any state. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please put your hands together and document. When you are documenting, what you are doing is you are building your readiness. You are building your community resilience. You are building your community engagement. And finally, you are also going to be engaging your local communities. And like we said yesterday, it is important to bring in the local government, emergency management committees, LEMCs. I am glad that, at this event, the vice chairman of the local governments are very well represented. Are you guys in the room? Please say hi. Thank you. We recognize you. Those are the change makers that are supposed to happen at the local government level. And at the local government level are the communities. These change makers, if properly engaged at your state level, SEMAs, you will have them managing the local emergency management committees, just like the SEMAs are managing us as a state. And once you engage them effectively and give them the appropriate training, some of the activities that are happening at the center will begin to happen at the local government level. And when we build resilience at the local government level, we we are generally building resilience at the state. And of course, because disasters are local, our communities will take a cue from it and will be able to ensure that these people are fully functional and be able to support the activities at the center. So again, I think we need to position ourselves to deal effectively with the local emergency management committees.
My name is Margaret Adabashoyomi. I work with civil staff in Abuja. So my question is, I know this is about emergency, and my question I think is to the DG. Do you also collaborate with the health emergency teams? Or is it just non-health emergencies you are focused on? Do you collaborate with health emergency teams?
Around here, Babatunde Bilal, I represent an NGO, Dispatch International PLC. It's like I want to ask a rhetorical question, but already I have the answer because I have once traveled out of funds to perform that, and I can confidently say it's only during that time I see an organization that operates here in Lagos. So I appreciate the fact that this conference is going here, and I want to ask, that's a rhetorical question, that with this level of preparedness, do the Lagos State allow NGO to participate?
I think I look at the setting.
Let them know that is FCT Sema.
FCT Sema. I look at the setting and I discover that just like Dr. Osoro just said, he's from the primary school up to the secondary school, up to the university, up to anywhere.
Exactly.
But the most important thing is that in the several states, the setup is never like that.
I want to appreciate our dear permanent secretary, Sema, for doing this on the global something, because this has been done in Ekiti State and is mainly due to the political will. Our dear governor has passion, to imitate the templates of what obtains in Lagos, and he has actually worked with Dr. Oke Osentolu. Just like FCT said, without political will, Lagos State would not have achieved what was achieved.
Because they are trying to save lives. So they are fully connected and they are fully represented. In fact, last time was coordinator is supposed to be on the panel. He would have spoken to that. And to go back to the gentleman that talked about the NGO engagement, every SEMA that must succeed must also work with the communities. To work with communities means you work with community-based organizations and community service organizations and NGOs. They are the people in the community that you can train as first responders so that they can begin a kind of response before you are able to reach them with a more centralized and more, high-tech response.
Thank you very much, my friend and my brother. But the most beautiful thing that you must realize is that emergency disaster management begins from you as a chief executive officer. I remember when I was a Director General, National Early Warning and Special Advisor to Mr. President, and I got to FCC. By 12 o'clock, the SEMA here will close. And interestingly, my office was upstairs, they are downstairs. The second day, by 2 o'clock, offices closed. One day, I just entered the DG. I said, where is DG? I just entered the DG's office. I said, Mr. DG, the director of FCT Sema. I said, Mr. DG, what is happening now? They said, oh boy, nothing in this Sema. I'm tired of it. Tired again. Don't be tired. And we commence a lot of activities. What we did, we we started visiting the local government. We started the local emergency. We started doing our thing. And later, we fired immediately when we have got a lot of momentum. We fired the minister. Then, and on my own part, I took the minister to the vice president there because I was supposed to. Now, let me tell you something. Sema commenced activities on the road. Sema was signed in by the present president Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the road as Alausa Road. That's where we signed in Sema. And then what happened? I was the head of ambulance services. I traveled to Kaduna. They were having a seminar of Sema in Kaduna. And when I got there, I saw what the Kaduna Sema were doing. Beautiful. I said, you are there, you will see that this is real thing. And what now happened? There was now the issue of the bomb blast that occurred in Ghana 2002. And I went back to the paper and I told Mr. Governor that look, we could have done this, we did not do it. We could have done this. We could have done this, we will not do it. But however, I put it straight onto me. I used a staff to know his phone number. I tested it, I liked the paper, and I showed it to him. Once he told me, the second time, the third time, then one day, he now asked, so what is the solution? And I told him that the solution is Sema. As I'm providing that we should establish Sema, I'm putting a policy straight to him for him to sign it. So when I mentioned it, he just signed it, and I took it to my ministry that we now have Sema. They say, how is Sema? And that's how we just get it. So you must learn to take the bull by the horn. And that is what we did in Borno State too. When I was a special advisor to Mr. President, I moved to Borno, we came there, I got the outside, we taught them a lot of things, and things started moving. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to stop talking here, but I want to encourage you that you must take the bull by what? By the horn. If they don't listen to you now, they will listen to you tomorrow. As you are talking, you must be providing paper or action. Thank you very much.
National Conference, Lagos State. It has been awesome and a lot of learning and Lagos State. Just like the way you have mentioned, this is the second day, and the second day has to do with holistic practical demonstration of activities that relate to emergency context and ways and manner in which other servants of other states can learn from Lagos State. And we have seen it. We just finished plenary session where ideas have been shared and a lot of observations have been raised by other state servants. And I think at the end of this conference, they have a lot to take back to the state to start operating on.
We go straight to Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, that has taken ownership, provided political will for us to build the first responders. And most importantly, we must thank one of the members of Executive Council in Lagos State, in person of Mr. Gbenga Oyerinde, who is the Commissioner of Special Duty, for always being with us, for always providing the political umbrella in emergency management in Lagos State. And to my people, the first responders, they are unsung heroes. I say again, and I repeat emphatically, they are the unsung heroes. I say you cannot thank them all because they work 24 hours. They use their life to ensure that safety of life and property is well taken care of in Lagos and to Nigeria. You can see us now sharing our experience, sharing our little beginning with all of us. Thank you once again.